Couple of announcements really quick. It is August 21st. I cannot believe that it's almost September. I'm not happy about it, like at all. Um, so going back to last week, our top Success Club earners as of last Wednesday. We had Samantha D and Caitlin Weir with 6 points. They were in the club super fast. And our top sponsors of last week were Devin and Samantha. I think for that week period, they had each had either 2 or 3 coaches, I forget. Rank advancements, we had Sam D, who advanced to double emerald, super exciting. And then we had Miss Stephanie Federer, who I see on here right now, who became a diamond coach, which is so freaking awesome. So kudos to her. Just some regular Beachbody announcements. I don't know if you guys know, but the 3-day refresh is 10% off. Recover is $10 off. And then we all have our promo codes. And if you have spouse accounts, you have extra promo codes. And I apparently did not know that you can swap them around and use them on different accounts. So if let's just say you use all 3 of yours and you only have 3 and you have somebody else who wants to sign up, let me know, let your coach know, post in the group. Maybe there's an extra promo code that, we can get you so that you can use it for somebody else if you've gone through all of yours. And the promotion that they're going to be doing for September, depending on how many promo codes you use, that's how many you're going to get to use in September, which is really cool too. Collagen is going to be available in Canada on August 27th. And I know that we have a couple people here that are from Canada, so I'm really excited about that. Still no word on the UK, but it's some kind of governmental thing going back and forth, getting them to allow that to be over there. Team plans. So a couple things. We have our Slight Edge coach mentorship that's going on, which I'm so excited about. It's the first time we're doing a group like this, but at the end of the day, I truly feel like personal development is that one piece that needs to be there. And it usually is that one piece that when somebody really starts to implement that and take action on those things, they really start to see changes in their business. So it really is a no fluff group. It's just about action and reading this book, which is amazing. So I'm really excited to see how this transforms the businesses of those who are in the group. What else? So we have a lot of diamonds on this team now, guys. We have at least 8. I actually would have to count. That's how many of you there are, which is amazing. So my plans in order to serve the leaders as best as I can on this team. And if you're already in our leader roundtable, you're going to be grandfathered in. But from this point forward, our leadership group is going to be for diamonds and up, because I really want to focus on the compensation plan, building an income, really taking leadership to the next level. Because Emerald is a decision to kind of open yourself up for business. I feel like Diamond is that milestone where you start to really gain momentum. You really start to get grounded in your leadership role and cultivating your own team culture and your own everything. But Star Diamond is really where your income will get next level. And 2 stars really when you see that really compound. So I want to focus on a lot of that stuff because I know that you guys are interested in that stuff. It's definitely a gap that I wish I kind of knew sooner. So I'm going to really try to focus that in our diamond group. The other thing that we're going to be implementing in there is leadership calls that are going to be the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And I'm thinking that I wanted to do mid-month because I want to include the leaders in this team on moving forward in the next month. We do a lot of stuff together. We do a lot of groups together, and I can't think of everything, and I don't want to think of everything. And I want all of the diamonds and up on this team to be able to do things that they want to do within our big team together. Stephanie F had this kooky idea of doing a spirit week, and I think it's amazing because that's not something that I would ever think of doing. But I do think that these things really do boost morale and make things different, engaging, and inviting for everyone. And we're all different. We all bring something different to the table. So I'm really excited about that. And then the other thing that I'm planning on doing is uploading 2 different Google Drives. I'm going to have a Google Drive in our leadership group, and I want to share more stuff. So as we kind of do different things, like different groups, I'm going to be sharing like our own challenge group guides for mentorships, for challenge groups as we kind of move forward. And I want you guys to be able to have access to those things. So you're not like, oh my God, I have to go in and scroll through and like save stuff or recreate or reinvent the wheel. I want you to just be able to click a link and just have everything, and literally like our Beachbody challenge group guides are, but for our own stuff. Over the years, I've purchased various different like stock images and things like that to kind of make graphics. I'm going to be sharing that stuff with the leaders on the team. So you guys really want to level up, get to at least diamond. And for those of you who are diamond, like it's time to level up and like show the world what this team is capable of, because we are capable of so much more. And it's only August, even though it feels like I can't believe it's August already. In addition to that, there's a couple other things. The the New Leader Conference, you have like all year to qualify for that, which is really amazing. And that starts at 1 star. So that's that trip to California where you get to like tour Beachbody headquarters and like literally go exploring like through the building, which is really cool. You get to see like the gym and all that kind of stuff. And you get put up in a hotel in California, and you literally have the best of the best in this company training you on leadership things. There's workouts. So I would have to assume that our newer trainers, newer programs, bigger things will be there for you guys. Like at the time when I was there, it was 80-day obsession. And it's really amazing. And the only difference is when I went, I was there by myself. Granted, I made friends and I knew people throughout, whatever, but you guys, there's so many of you who are like right there that like, how amazing would it be if like you guys could all go together and like celebrate there together and make plans together. I mean, it really could be amazing. And if a couple of you go, like I would honestly go and try to crash the event because, why not? The other things that are going on in Dare to Dream, which is like my bigger team, Jessica is doing a Star Diamond retreat like promotion throughout. I think the rest of the year you'd have to go and Dare to Dream to see the details, but anybody in the downline can qualify for that, which is amazing. And then I'm going to be hosting my own for you guys for Star Diamond, as long as 2 of you can hit that, because, we need at least like to have like a team there. But for 2020, I think that would be a really fun thing. Maybe we do like a Star Diamond and spouse thing. Maybe we just do a Star Diamond thing. It really depends. But, we're going to level up throughout the rest of the year, and I'm really excited. That is all I had. Andria is going to be speaking tonight. I forget what her topic or what she's going to be focusing on, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. She was at Summit. She is a Diamond coach. She's been coaching for a while. So without further ado, I will just pass over and unmute, and you can just go.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was my second summit. I went to the one in Nashville. Let me turn this on. So I went to the one in Nashville, and then the next year, my son was born the day that Summit started, so I missed that one. But I love Summit. It's a lot of just amazing opportunities, and I know that we've all gone through kind of what our takeaways were. So for me, I wanted to do my biggest takeaway and then kind of how I'm implementing it so that it kind of is a little bit more of like what I'm doing and the other type of training type of quote. So this came from Christina Delgado, who is a top coach. She is her and her sister are legacy or million dollar club members, whatever you call it. And they are both from Miami, and they're the Diesel Nation or whatever. And I always found them really interesting because they're 2 sisters that lived in the same city of Miami, which is saturated with women who look good, who are into health and fitness. And they made this business, $1 million businesses for each one of them, and then their husbands. Like, it's just funny that like people say things like, well, this business is too saturated, or this business doesn't work because I don't know anybody, or this business doesn't work for me because that'd be like me saying, well, I can't do this business because Megan and I work at the same hospital and Megan already talked to all the nurses at the hospital, so I can't do this business. And I really kind of related to the two of them because of the way they built their business. And Christina Delgado is kind of like a no excuses type of girl. And I just want to say that she had on these phenomenal Christian Louboutin shoes that okay. So one of the things that she talked about that really hit home for me was, on your social media, are you providing value? Or are you just constantly pushing, do this, buy this, take this from me? And it's something that Melanie Mitro talks about a lot as well. You give, and then ask. And you give. And there's a book by Gary Vee that's called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And it's the same thing, that you provide value more than you ask for something back. And it's funny because in my mind I thought, well, I mean, I do a recipe every once in a while and I'll share a beauty tip. And one of the things that Christina Delgado was talking about was providing value outside of the box, providing value so that your followers want to see what you're doing. So they intentionally go to your page and they intentionally click on your stories, or they intentionally click on your feed because they want to see what value you're going to provide next. So I want to go through some of the notes that I took, and then some of the things I took this from them, and then parts of Melanie Mitro and things. And I kind of did this together. So things that you can do to provide value. One of the things that Melanie Mitro is big on is she shares books that she's reading and things. And that might not be something for everybody. I don't know if that's my type of thing, but she shares books and then she asks like questions and things about it. And then she makes, suggestions, and she kind of like does that on her whole social media. One of the things Christina Delgado talked about was solving problems for your customers, but not in the way of health and fitness. Like solving a problem for them, like, what did I write here? So, all right. So are they stressed out? Give them a way to pamper themselves. Give them advice on a way that they can have a stress relief or something. So offer them something that is outside of the box of like health and fitness type of thing. One of the other things that she said, which really struck with me, and she said, be inspirational. And I just wrote down be inspirational. But what she elaborated on was, you can provide value by being yourself. If you are somebody who's like a quirky type of funny person, that can be value to somebody. If you're going on your stories and, you're making people laugh, that's value to them. It doesn't have to be offering them something. And that really struck me as like, it doesn't have to be something tangible that they can say, oh, well, she recommended this deodorant, I'm going to go buy it. Like, if they're laughing at your stories every morning, they'll come back to laugh at your stories every morning. And that's value. One of the other things she said was just sharing different types of photos, things like that. She also said that value, yeah, that's true. Caitlin's stories in the morning. Make sure that you're showing, she called it your natural habitat. So you don't just want to be like health and fitness, health and fitness, health and fitness, health and fitness, or recipes, nutrition. People want to see your families, your kids. If you're on vacation, they want to see that you're on vacation. Maybe they want to see your messy house. They want to see the fact that you're not organized. They want to see the fact that your kid just threw your entire wallet that was full of $50 down the toilet. Like, they want to see that kind of stuff. And she said People want to see the real business. Don't stage your photos. You can make them pretty, but don't stage them. Like, that's a whole, what she was trying to say. They want to see the real person doing the real things. And then let's see. And then one of the other things was, she said, make sure, you're sharing news, but like not news, like stay away from politics and stuff like that, but share like different types of things. Like if you're local and you have a big following in New Jersey, and that there's going to be like, I don't know, a wine fest or something, like share events, like share things that you're going to share things. And then one of the other things was, okay. So when you are signing on new customers or bringing them in, you want to make sure that you're helping them in the way that they need to be helped, and that they will, what she called, love their business by being able to promote it on their own terms, on their own social media. So she said, you don't want everybody to necessarily be like you. And they talk a lot about avatars. And she was saying, like, they don't want to be you. But it was that guy that was speaking on the National Wake Up Call, Rob, I think his name was. It's not an exact replica of you. You pull little pieces of you so that you can connect to them. But then you have to meet them on their playing field so that you can provide value to them, to coach in the way that they can relate to coaching and the way that they can relate to building a business. Because she said, I don't think she said this, but this is what I took from it. Like, as you grow as a coach, sometimes it's hard to remember how hard it was in the beginning to get started. So you have to remember that they're not going to necessarily know what you know or know how to do the things that you have to do. They do have to be able to figure it out, but you have to be able to kind of meet them to show them how to do that. So those were the notes that I took, but how that I've kind of tried to transform my social media since I've come back, which I have seen a little bit of a difference. Number one is I was really concentrating on Instagram, and I forgot that Facebook is still so vitally important. Not that I was neglecting Facebook, but I was neglecting my invites on Facebook, and I was neglecting my connections on Facebook, because I had connected with a lot more than 90% of my Facebook before, but it's almost like I dropped them off and I didn't follow up with them anymore because it was like, whatever, it's my warm market. And I did a post today about deodorant, and it was funny to see that I have like, I don't know, 30 or 40 comments on Facebook and one on Instagram. So it's like you kind of forget. Like for me, I have to kind of work both platforms, which is another thing that Melanie Mitra was talking about, not neglecting your Facebook. But also some of the things that I've transitioned is trying to provide value in different ways to see what gets the most traction. And it's true that people just like to see your life. Through my kitchen renovation, I got so much engagement. I'm talking like I had 40 to 60 people voting on my polls, to the point where I couldn't even keep track anymore. And then you post a call to action and it's crickets. But it was a way to continue the conversation. So I keep talking to them. And actually, I was able to send out about 10 invites from those 60 people that I've been connecting with. But I'm connecting with them on a different wavelength through trying to provide different areas of value. And it's the same thing. I'm doing that with my posts, trying to do different types of posts to see what creates value. But people don't respond, for me anyway, to recipes. They don't find that valuable. They don't find my workout clips valuable. They might watch them, but that's not value to them. At least for me, my audience, they like to see my life, my home decor. They like to see my son smashing his nostrils up against the door. And, like that, that's the kind of stuff that's valuable. So it's interesting for me, at least, to kind of think outside the box a little bit as to how you can tweak and play with social media. That's kind of all I have.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's super valuable. And just a couple things that I thought of, I wrote notes as you were talking. I think it's really important to experiment with different things for you. Like if you're not renovating your kitchen, you can do posts about, you know what I mean?
Right.
So depending on what you're into, you can do a post that has a focus on your family, because honestly guys, the posts that I have with Jack do a million times better than posts with Dan, which is why I really don't feature Dan as much in my static posts. But if he's in my stories, people are actually curious. You have to experiment with, the stuff that you put in your stories to the stuff that you put on your wall, the stuff that you put on Instagram, stuff that you put on Facebook. And Andrea had the perfect experiment of I got X amount of comments on the same exact post, experimenting with the time of day, the day of the week. And there's different apps that can kind of help you figure this out if you're not in tune to what's going on. And then putting certain types of content on your wall versus your stories. So I completely agree with you with recipes. Everybody's annoying me, asking me for recipes. But even today, the one food picture that I posted had a fourth of the likes that I usually get. But people do watch them in stories. So video tends to do better. So you have to just experiment and see what works best for you. And then the other thing that I think is interesting that I think anybody can do, if you think of things that resonate with you a little bit, you can do polls hey guys, I just want to make sure that I'm keeping everybody happy here. So if you watch my stories, I obviously want to make you happy. So please vote on the next couple of polls so that I can give you content that you want. Literally, ask them what they want. And you can do a poll beauty versus home decor. You could do recipes versus fitness tips. You can do book club stuff, TV show, whatever. It could be anything depending on what you're into, but you'll be surprised or you could do a question box, what kind of content do you want to see? Ask them, and there's so many things that even I see and I'm wow, that's really smart. Ashley Smith is actually genius. I mean, she used to be a teacher, so I'm not surprised, but she is preschool, kindergarten age kids, but she does all of these different activities. She'll go and get toys. And I feel Anna would be really good at this too, but she'll go and get things that aren't toys, but she uses them as toys, but they're activities for kids to do that are basically free. So as a parent who's looking for that, I would be following her for that, looking for those tips. And then what's this she's talking about, this pumpkin spice magical shake? You know what I mean? And that's how stuff happens. So think outside the box and don't go and start putting Velcro letters on your mirrors, but just start thinking of things that are that you can do to offer somebody else. I see that James does woodwork. Maybe there's different things that as a family, you guys can show that DIY stuff. There's so many things that you guys can do. To just think, but just to kind of see what you think, what's your favorite personal development book that you've read and why? Or Audible, whatever.
Well, it's funny that you say that. I read The Slight Edge. It was my second book. I read it right after The Compound Effect. But honestly, I didn't take it in at all because I'm reading it again now and I'm starting chapter 5. And I'm damn it. It's such a good book. I mean, like, and I mean, like, literally applying it to every single aspect of your life, not just the business aspect. And it's, it's, it's probably one of my favorite books right now. But one of my other favorite books, and I can't think of what it's called. It's the yellow one with the hammer on it. It's like tools.
Built to Last
Thank you.
by Keith Callahan.
Thank you.
It's amazing for leadership.
Loved that book. I have read it twice. And then my other favorite book, just because it is just a kick in the ass, is Relentless. I read that book in a day and a half and I couldn't put it down. Like, that book is just amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so here's an interesting question. When you decided to go for diamond, become a diamond, I'm chasing diamond down, what was it that you want? Like, why did you want that? Like, why did you want diamond? Like, why was that important to you?
I was tired of being emerald. I was an emerald for 2 years. I didn't really want diamond, but I also think I didn't want it because I didn't think it was attainable for me, if that makes sense. I was kind of like, it's not me, but not because I didn't want it, because I think deep down I was probably like, oh, I can never get there. That's not me. That's not something I could do. So it was just kind of like, well, I'm not even going to try for it because what's the point? And I think it was just kind of like the growth of our team that I was like, well, if everybody else is doing it, why can't I? So it was kind of like, I want to see if I can do this. And so from the day I was like, all right, I'm going to actually just apply myself and see if I can do it. I think it was like 3.5 months.
So if I was a coach that's been coaching for 6 months or longer, and I've been struggling or getting discouraged because things just aren't happening, or every time I get so far, it's like 2 steps back, 1 step forward kind of a thing. Like, what advice would you have for that person who's trying really hard to get there?
Read The Slight Edge, and then immediately after, read the 10X Rule. Because I am the same way right now. Like, I should be a star diamond, but I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because I'm not doing enough of the things consistently enough. And I know why. And it's only an excuse. It's because I literally have no time in the day, but I need to rearrange things and make the time. And so I'm experimenting with different things. What I started to do when I got back from Summit was doing different things on different days. So instead of trying to do everything in 2 hours a day, because that's really all I have before I pass out with my face on the desk, I'm like, I was rushing. So what I was finding that I was personally doing was I'd be like, all right, so this is where I am right now, right? So this is where I am right now for the week. And what is blank at the bottom? Okay. So what I found that I would be doing is I would be like, shit, it's Wednesday. So then I would just blast out like 50 cold invites to people watching my stories. Well, what I noticed was happening, this was before Summit, and what I noticed was happening was they stopped watching my stories. They stopped following me because I was spamming them. So slowly, some of them, because I have like their names written down, like some of them that were like routinely watching my stories. So I remember them. I remember their name. And some of them are just now coming back around. So I'm messaging them, apologizing, and starting a real conversation, and they're responding to me because people don't like that. So I know that Kate Schultz does it differently, and I wish I knew how she did it, but it doesn't work for me, and I need to make true connections, but true connections take time. So when I got back from Summit, what I was doing was a thing a day. So Monday would be, I'm going to just start connecting. Like I would take a hashtag, like we're going to Block Island this month. So I would find, like the Or is a restaurant in Block Island. So I went to the Or and I was messaging people. Was the restaurant good? I'm coming for one day. Does this make sense to eat here? Would this be what you would recommend? just starting conversations with people. But that takes a time. That takes a lot of time. So I'm spending the whole hour, hour and a half doing that. The next day, I switch to Facebook, blast out a bunch of friend requests, and then people watching my stories, I'm talking to them, inviting them, engaging with people, because I stopped engaging with people who were liking my posts on Facebook. I stopped. So I got back into that. And then on Wednesday, it was doing follow-ups that I could, and then some invites. But the thing is, it's almost like if you stop the conversations, you lose the pool of people to invite from. So you can't not do all of the things. You can't just invite, because you're just spamming people and they're going to leave you. Even if they're your loyal followers, they're going to leave you. So it's kind of like, but what I'm finding is because I'm doing one thing a day, it's not enough. So now I know that it's working better, but not as much as I need it to work. So I have to tweak it again. So I need to figure out how to maybe combine things and do this and this on one day and this on another day. I have to figure it out. It's a work in progress, but I feel like different about it. Like I feel that when I'm getting close to what works for me, and I know that when I kind of get into that perfect sweet spot, it's going to be, I just have to try to tweak my time a little bit better.
Yeah. And the only thing that I could see being like maybe an issue with that route is all of the algorithms. Cause I mean, like we only know what we know, right? Like, and none of us work for Instagram or Facebook, but I've even like heard wherever I hear things or see things that the platforms know, like she hasn't friend requested anybody in 4 days and all of a sudden she friend requested 50 people, like, so you may run into some issues with that, and maybe not issues in terms of like your account, but maybe like Facebook being like, we're just going to like not spread her stuff to anybody today. Like I don't know what they do or how they do it, but it seems like consistency, the boring word that nobody wants to hear usually
I agree. Because one of the other problems I've noticed is if Monday I went through and did my Instagram, like things, liking, commenting, yada, yada, and I don't go back to that until maybe Friday or the weekend, guess what happened? I went and I'm like, I missed people who followed me. I missed connecting and saying thank you for the follow, whatever, I wanted to say to them. Or if what I noticed is like they like if I'll like I have so many like things going on in my feed and then it stops so you can't see it anymore. I went back, somebody commented on my thing like 2 weeks ago and I missed it. And I'm like, oh my God. Or I commented on their photo. They responded back to me. I didn't respond back. Like, it's almost like you have to keep up with it at least every other day, or I feel like those little things get lost, but those are people connecting with you and you're letting it. And for me, I'm letting it go. So it's not working to do that twice a week because I'm missing huge pockets of people who are engaging with me.
Yeah. And what I usually do like every couple of days, like with Facebook, so like, let's just say tonight, for example, I would go to my Facebook profile. I would look at like the last like 4 days of posts, any names that just stood out. Like I've never had a conversation with them before. Maybe I talked to them a long time ago. I would write their names down. And then like tomorrow when I like sit down to work, it's like, boom, I'm ready to go. I have my list. I could work off of it. I do what I can. I go through 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, whatever it is. I usually try not to send like more than a dozen messages on either platform in like one specific sitting because I don't want to get in trouble with these damn platforms that are so freaking sensitive. I'll put a little laundry and come back, do like another dozen. I'll go, do whatever, come back and do another. And that's just how I work my business. And then when I'm done in the morning, I go about my entire day without really doing much because I have Jack. And then at night, like now, I would, let's just say, try to get back to any you know, doors that are open, so to speak, with like messages and things like that, or make note of things to go back to in the morning. And if I were working, let's just say a full day tomorrow or something like that, I would probably just make a note of like, follow up with these people, take a screenshot of maybe if I'm working out of a binder or, you know, streak or something like that. So I have a plan that if I do have a pocket of time, you never know, I have something to work with. Does anybody have any questions about anything? I know we kind of covered like a very broad variety of stuff, but I think there's a lot of content and a lot of things that can be implemented, which is amazing. And husbands are not boring. Anybody have anything? Questions about literally anything at all? No? I think we should do a photo. Unless anybody wants to do a boomerang. We could do a photo, I guess. Okay, you guys ready? 1, 2. Okay, I will post this in the page. The only other thing that I think I forgot to mention, November 1st through 3rd is Super Weekend. So no matter where you live, no matter where you're from, there's an event for you to be a part of. I highly, highly, highly recommend going to an event near you. It really is a remarkable experience. And what we will probably do as a team is do something virtually. If for some reason you work, you can't do whatever, we'll have something that you could be a part of. And we'll have to figure out what we're going to be doing in New Jersey. But that's it, guys. Thanks for coming. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care and have a great night.